Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1:02 p.m., I think. Oh, 1:01. Not too bad. Just a minute late today. Just literally got back from the office. I'm still wrapping that up. Run commuted today, and it's time for another live stream. Today is Friday, February 18th, 2022, guys. We made it to the end of the week. It's been a long and tiring week for me. We'll talk all about it. But first, let's say hi to everyone listening in on the podcast. Hopefully, you guys are having a good run today. I'm catching you guys up that are listening on the podcast version because I inserted that Rory Linkletter interview into the podcast feed. So I still haven't posted yesterday's podcast. Now, if you're listening to this, you're on to Friday's podcast. By the end of the weekend, I think we'll be kind of back up to speed. But either way, whenever you're listening to this, hopefully you're having some beautiful weather for your long run. And everyone watching this on YouTube after the fact, not live, hopefully you guys are doing well too. Hopefully you guys are sitting back after your long run or maybe after a long week, feet up, relaxing, and just enjoying some afternoon coffee or something more exciting if it's evening time. Coffee is delicious. Hold on for a second. My hair is all weird the way I put it on. Not the way I put my hair on. I don't put my hair on. By the way, I put my headphones on. It's just going to have to be weird today. That's all right. All right, let's see what we got in the chat. We got Regan Dugan saying hi, everybody. He's the first one in today. And Running in Pizza says, first year race of the year tomorrow. Not thrilled for it to be in a snowstorm. I wouldn't be thrilled for that either. That makes it tough. But I'll just have to expect a slower pace than I had planned on. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that you're going to have a good time. I think that depending on like the degree of the snow, I think that you got your bib on, it's race time, things will be cleared out. I mean, depending on how far to the front of the race you may or may not be, there might be a nice little path cleared out for you. So I think you'll be fine. I think you're going to I think you're going to be great. Daniel M is sitting back with is that a burrito? That looks like a burrito emoji. I like it. Christian Schoberger says, yo, what's going on, with a nice little wave. Love it. David Prabhu says, good afternoon, co-fam. And Martha gives a wave as well. Hi to you, Martha. All right. Leona says, happy Friday, co-fam. 14-miler on my favorite trails, testing out the 1080 version 11. Great upper and nice cushioning. And you took it out on trails? Nice. That's nice work. Rory Linkletter, who I just mentioned, is a big fan of the 1080 version 11. I do like the 1080 version 11, but for me, I'm like, well, the 1080 is nice, but I also like the Fresh Fillmore version 3. Anytime that I might reach for the 1080, I'm kind of like, maybe I just go a little bit higher stack. We'll go with the Fresh Fillmore version 3, but the 1080 is really nice as well. Hopefully you're enjoying it, Leona. All right. JC says, good afternoon / evening, compadres, with a KO in front of it. Like it. And his Dunbar says, hi, Kafoozing everybody. Had a run with Pip, then a speed workout on the treadmill. Now I'm cooking Scottish langoustines for tea. That sounds really nice. That also sounds like a very Scottish sentence. Now I'm cooking Scottish langoustines for tea. That's not something that you would hear like a Chicagoan saying to another Chicagoan, for example. But I love it. And I'm very curious as to what that dish is. It sounds fantastic. And it also sounds like it's going to be a very warming food, which I could really go for. Very appetizing to me right now. I'm just cold. Usually here's the cycle that I go in. So I've been telling you guys I've been feeling tired. I skipped today's regularly scheduled workout. I was going to do another threshold mile repeat session, but I've just been having a hard time bouncing back from some of these sessions. So I'm skipping it. I may or may not. I'll probably have a long run, but I don't know if I'll put a workout into it. It might just be some time on feet. And usually the progression goes this way. I don't eat well, and then I start feeling tired. And then I also probably at the same time, that's related to me not eating well, I'm not sleeping well. And then I start getting even more tired. And then it becomes like a cycle. And then the overall feeling that I get is one of just being a little bit tired overall and chilly. And so I usually have to think of it as all right, well, you just got to make sure you eat better. So I got to focus on that a little bit. And right now, anything that sounds warming to me sounds delicious. So Scottish langoustines for tea. That sounds really good. I wish I were there. X-Truth says, yo, what's going on? What's going on, X-Truth? Good to see you. Tracy Smith says, hi, all. All right. Today, I don't know if you guys saw, Tokyo announced an elite field. And I mean, I guess it's good news. It's great. Happy to see it. Glad to see that the marathon is going on. I'm still not going to be going. It's not up to me because I wasn't paying for it, that kind of thing. Someone else was paying for it, and so someone else is making the decision. And I understand that people have to make a decision a certain amount of time ahead of time with the best information they have. And if you're an elite, or if you're just a regular person trying to travel to Japan for the marathon, you can make decisions a little bit later, perhaps. But the cool thing is that the elite field got announced today. Eli Kipchoge, which I think is probably like the worst kept secret in marathoning, is going to be running the Tokyo Marathon. That's official today. Sarah Hall is also going to be running the marathon, which I thought was a real surprise. I didn't expect to see that happening. So that's cool. Two other notable things about it. Of the elite field that was mentioned today, I think you had to be basically a 212 or under to be considered for the elite field. At least according to the press release that I saw today, it looked like no men under 212 were there. I don't remember what the time was for the women. But across the men and the women, I think that in the elite field, I think, if I'm not wrong, I think there's one American, and it's Sarah Hall. No men. And I understand because it's Japan, its travel was hard in terms of planning and all that kind of stuff. I get it, but still, it's surprising. But Bridget Kosgei is going to be kind of like the headliner for the women, with Kipchoge the headliner for the men. It's going to be. I'm going to be watching it with I'm going to be sad, excited for it the entire time. I'm like, that could have been me. Not, clearly not running with Kipchoge, but next year. Yeah. All right. Tracy Smith says, it seems like Sarah races so much more frequently than others. I agree with that. I mean, she just ran Houston a little while ago, but in terms of the timing, running Houston, and then Houston was at the end of January, and then Tokyo's at the beginning of March. So that puts it, I think, like 7 weeks out, which is, I think, where people say to put in a good, from the things that I've been reading, if you're using it as a tune-up race, that's a good time to put it, 7 weeks. And that's one heck of a tune-up race as well, hitting the American record. And then heading into Tokyo. So, I think she's have some good momentum going in there, and possibly explain, that's the reason why she didn't run the marathon in Houston. So it'll be interesting to see. Japan, I think, is a flat and fast course. So we'll see if it's a record attempt or not. And I'm definitely rooting for her, for sure. Lucas H says, hello, my running friends. The top of the foot / ankle pain has derailed my LA training. Oh no. Run streak ended this week at 450 days. What? Taking a week off. Ooh. That's a long streak. That's a really long streak. I'm like, you can't what is your minimum for your streak? You can't just put in a couple minimum days. Normally I wouldn't tell people to push it, but when you got 450 days going, I don't know. Lucas H says 6 days a week and one easy day to 1 to 2 miles with the 8-year-old. Maybe just a lot of easy days to keep the streak going with the 8-year-old. Just a mile or two. Your kid was probably like 6 when you started, maybe 7. That's a long time. All right. Let me scroll up here and see if I can find some. Martha says, all the talk about langoustines makes Martha want a lobster roll. I can go for a lobster roll. I'm starving right now. I had just had lunch, but not enough. I think my body just needs a lot more fuel than I've been giving it. I've been eating, I think, the regular amount, but I've been ramping up so much that I just think it's still not enough. So like a lobster roll sounds delicious. Anything that's just covered in butter sounds really good right now. Yeah. Leona says, yeah, you've been racking up a lot of miles and a lot of speed work, so it's not surprising. Yeah, I'm just tired. So, feeling it. Definitely feeling it. let's see. Eric Paramont's here. He says, made it. Yay. Howdy, y'all. What's going on, Eric? Good to see you. Martha says, today's Believe in the Run forward look at most intriguing 2022 shoes makes May midsummer look exciting. None of them seem to be coming before May. I think that we're in a dead spot right now. So I haven't seen that video yet. I saw the thumbnail for it. I didn't click on it yet. But I just saw it like as I was sitting down to log in here. But I think that like normally like all the shoes get released in time for fall marathons, right? And then in the holidays, there usually aren't that many releases, which I always find surprising since I do think that a lot of runners probably get their one out of the maybe 2 to 3 shoes that they'll buy in a year, if that. They probably get them at Christmas or the holidays. So I think it's really surprising that more shoes aren't released then. But then again, I also understand it. A lot of the country is in wintertime and snow, and a lot of people don't run year round. So again, that makes sense too. But usually like Adidas is good for a couple of releases. Nike will release a couple of shoes. A lot of times the Vomero comes out like late of the year. Some Adidas shoes will come out late in the year. And then there's nothing until like after Boston. And so like there's some trail shoes that come out. Usually a lot of Gore-Tex shoes come out at the beginning of the year. Speaking of Believe in the Run, just listen to that Gore-Tex, the interview that they had with someone from Gore-Tex or the WL Gore company on my run commute today. Really good podcast. But now we're in like that February to like after April, like to May. Just a dead spot. I don't know about any shoes coming out except Puma. Now Puma's come into the space and they're like, you know where we're going to go? Right where nobody is. And I love that approach. I think it worked out really well for them last year. And I would love to get some Puma shoes. So, but I'm going to have to wait because they're not on sale till like the end of the month. And so far, no one's been like reaching out to me. I suppose maybe I should send out an email and see if they'll send me some. But I'm guessing since they seeded it to a lot of other people, maybe they're just like, we'll wait for Kofuzi to buy his own. Yeah. So, Jonathan Crossley says he's eating. Everyone tell me what you're eating because I'm so hungry. I want to hear about it. I'm going to live vicariously through you guys today. This would be like a reverse of a normal live stream. Jonathan Crossley's eating breakfast tacos for lunch. I think that breakfast tacos and also breakfast pizza, highly underrated foods and should be eaten all throughout the day. My sister-in-law, the ones that live just down the street from my mother-in-law, they eat the breakfast pizza from Casey's. They'll have that for dinner. You know, not regularly because that's not good for you. But it is like, I'm like, oh, I mean, and I won't eat it because it's got like breakfast sausage on it. But I'm like, that's a good call. I mean, it's a pizza with country gravy on top. I mean, why? And eggs. I mean, it's just, it's not really pizza, but it's good. It's good. And then breakfast tacos. Yeah. I mean, I eat eggs. I think probably most of my meals, there's an egg involved. Put an egg in it. And so, I'm a big fan of the breakfast tacos. It's good. I had a microwave, like from the freezer for lunch. I had from the freezer one of those, I think it's Morningstar Farms, like a fake chicken patty sandwich. And I was like, I should put an egg on this. But I was running out of time because I was late today, so I was running out of time. But I've never put an egg on the fake chicken sandwich, but I think that's going to be really good. I'm going to have to do that later today. See guys, I'm just so hungry. X-Truth's with me though. He loves breakfast pizza. Nice. Lulu said, I had a banana and 3 Samoas for breakfast. That sounds so good. Not ideal, but I had to get out the door quickly this morning. See, here's my other thing. I love breakfast foods, not at breakfast, but maybe it's like a Korean thing because we don't really have, like traditionally Korean people don't have like breakfast. You just eat whatever's left over from yesterday for breakfast. And which usually means fish, which like growing up as like an American kid visiting Korea and being like, where's the cereal? And they'd be like, there's no cereal. Here, have this mackerel for breakfast. You're just like, what? But I do think that more like, Samoas aren't necessarily a not breakfast food, right? But they're probably not considered a traditional breakfast food. But either way, I like not breakfast foods in the morning. One of my favorite like leftovers to eat for breakfast, though, I usually try to make a bunch of this at a time, and then just have leftovers in the freezer, and then I'll fry up an egg and put some on top when I want to eat as leftovers. And after a run is great, fried rice. I just absolutely love it. It's just good flavors. I put lots of ketchup in my fried rice. I started doing that when I was a kid, and my mom did it. I think my mom would put the ketchup in the fried rice. You ever do that? It's really good. I highly recommend. So Eric Paramon's eating a Satan burrito. You have to explain what the Satan burrito is. Chris Dyke just finished a cinnamon scone with an espresso. That's fancy. That sounds nice. Did you dip it in? You dip it in the Nespresso? I want an espresso. I want a fancy coffee. I haven't had a fancy coffee in a long time. I mean, that's probably pandemic related. I'm surprised we haven't bought an espresso machine at this point. But yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. There's a Starbucks that's on that I pass on the way to drop off the kids at school. And during the pandemic, it did all sorts of weird stuff. I mean, like, it's a pretty big one, and it's always full. And during the pandemic, they only had like mobile ordering only. And so what they did was they took all the oops, sorry. Just lost my headphones. Not that it matters, but let me plug this back in real quick. So they took all the tables and they basically like made it like a little pen that people could come in, so they wouldn't come all the way into the store. But it looked like they were barricading the doors for like a zombie apocalypse. It was pretty funny. And then once like the pandemic started to get better, that same Starbucks would just be closed for like sometimes a day, sometimes a week. Sometimes there would be a note on the door saying like, we're having problems keeping stocked up on supplies, so we're closed today. Sometimes there wouldn't be. Today, it was just closed. And like there was all sorts of people this morning. I saw people on the way to drop off the kids to school and on the way home. People were just like, kept pulling on the door. Lights are off in this Starbucks, but people are like pulling on the door and like wondering why they can't get in. And I'm like, it's clearly closed. Like, get off your phone. Like, look up and you'll see that. So people go crazy over there. Over their Starbucks, I guess. Daniel M is eating breakfast cake. Love it. Again, I think cake, like the distinction to me in my mind between cupcake, cake, muffin, very slim. I guess frosting would be the big thing, but my wife usually leaves lots of baked goods for me that are unfrosted. Me and her dad eat like our pastries the same way, no frosting or very, very little frosting. But I think cake for breakfast is a fantastic food. I do, real talk here. I do give it, like if we have a bunch of cake, like if it was someone's birthday, I usually let the kids eat cake for breakfast for the next couple of days. Bryce Blank is eating a seitan burrito. I never got into the seitan all that much. But I think it's gotten a bad rap. I think it could be better. I mean, I think it's probably better than I think it is. I should try it. All right. Running Pizza wants to know if the Velocity Nitro runs narrow. I don't know. I did the Deviate. I thought the Deviate was great. Really good fit for a long run shoe. Lucas says that the Nitro one seemed a little narrow, but not terrible compared to the usual Saucony. Okay. And Eric says, I should try the Puma Velocity 2s. It's been eons since I've had any kind of a Puma. Soccer flats maybe, 30 plus years ago. I think that's pretty much like what most runners are saying right now about it. Because even if you were interested in them last year, I feel like a lot of them were hard to get. Maybe not the Velocities towards like the end, but because towards the end, then there was like a Velocity Nitro SP. Then there was like a Velocity Nitro Cool Ready or something like that. There were all sorts of different variants of it, which I think was great. I mean, it felt very Adidas-like in the way that they were just like kept releasing these new kind of versions of it. But hopefully, they'll make more of them this year. I'd like to try them. Eric says, that's what the French do to make anything better, to put an egg on it. Well, it's like a croque madame or a croque monsieur. Which one? Both of them, right? There's like an egg. Which one has an egg on it? Do both of them have an egg on it? I can't remember. That's a delicious sandwich. Trisha O says, just tuned in and caught the tail end of the Puma shoes discussion. Bought a pair of the Velocity Nitro 1s on super sale earlier this week. Excited to try them when they arrive. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I should pick up a pair too if I can get them on sale. Not to necessarily to review, but just to run in them a little bit to get a sense for what's different. Let's see. I'm liking this idea. But Trisha will have to let us know what you think when the shoes do come in. Let me scroll down a little bit more. Frank says, Co doesn't like seitan because it thinks it's fake meat or something. I don't have a problem with fake meat, although I wish, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. My opinions on it change. Conceptually, I have a problem with fake meat because I think vegetables are delicious and then things should just be what they want to be. I wish turkey pepperoni would just be like, I'm confident in turkey. It's delicious. I'm just going to be turkey. I'm not going to be pepperoni. But there's a lot of convenience. So at this point, because I'm always just kind of hungry and probably need more protein, we do stock a lot of those like fake chicken patties and also from the same company. I don't know what company it is, but they come in the freezer section. They sell them in 4-packs or 8-packs. The packaging is white and green. You guys probably know what it is. They do a good bean burger patty. And I think they just have like a veggie patty too. So we get the variety. And then I also do a lot of veggie dogs just because it's just you throw it in the microwave for a little bit. It's a quick way to have a snack. I also really like hot food. Like if I'm very hungry, like room temperature food, like snacks or like cold food, like a big plate of like crudité, I would eat the whole thing and be like, all right, now when do we eat? So that's how I feel about it. And Lucas H is eating. He says, I know Go hates oatmeal as oatmeal, but I've got oatmeal with blueberries and bananas and passion fruit. You know what? I don't know what passion fruit is. I mean, I think I know the flavor. I think that scratch fluid we were talking about yesterday, the powder, has 1,000 milligrams per serving of salt. I think that's passion fruit flavored. I could be wrong on that one. Tommy runs says, you put an egg on a vegan chicken sandwich? Yeah, you know what else Tommy, this is going to drift. What's going on, Tommy? Tom, I don't know if you guys saw, Tommy was running in the snowstorm over the weekend, and he just looked like he got like frosted by like Jack Frost in Santa Claus 3. Like his whole face, all his hair was just completely blanketed in white. It was amazing. But so the the vegan chicken sandwich, I usually put cheese on it and mayonnaise. I know like most mayonnaise, like commercial mayonnaise, I don't think is egg based. But yeah, I put mayonnaise, and then I've never put an egg on it, but I feel like I should. Other things that I put on that sandwich, I think that are delicious are pickles, but then I feel like the other way. I'm like, I'm putting vegetables on a vegetable patty. This seems kind of weird, right? So it's like either way, whatever you top on it with, it just seems odd, I think. So, I mean, I don't know, but I guess when you're hungry, you're hungry. I think that the spicy chicken or chicken, like the CHIK''N, like the fake chicken, I think the best things to put on it are like pickles. If you've got like giardiniera or like other like pickled spicy vegetables to put on top, that's really nice. Because it gives some of that like a little bit of crunch and it's a little bit sour. It's good. It's real good. All right. Lucas H, when he ate his scone and then espresso, he had no dipping or dunking. It's just a messy way to eat. But I feel like the scone is very dry. I tell you what, though, when I have scones, I'd rather have a glass of milk. I also do think that tea is a little bit better suited. I just think that the flavors work a little bit better, which is probably why the scones are so... I mean, that's where it originated from a tea drinking culture, right, as a pastry. And I think there's reasons why that works. Steve says, yo, what's going on? I'm late as I was building a new divan bed. Lots of better recovery to follow. No more lumpy mattress. There you go. I'm excited to go to bed. I'm always excited to go to bed. And Eric Paramount is clearing up with my joke because he said he's having a Satan burrito. Ah, Satan burrito. I get it. He wished a local place would make a Satan burrito. I think they should just make a Satan burrito with Satan in it. Just really spicy stuff. Spicy everything. I think that would be good. I think that would work. I feel like the Seitan burrito should have like sweet potatoes or potatoes in it, like deep fried little nuggets of potato. That's just me. I would probably also put cheese in it, but someone that wants a Seitan burrito probably does not want dairy. And I would rather have no dairy or no cheese than have the vegan cheese. I think that stuff's gross. I don't know what you guys think about that. Jonathan Crossy says, I do think that an egg with a touch of cheese makes just about everything taste better, along with a good amount of high quality sea salt. I agree. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. And my mom was very health I don't know if my mom's in here today, but my mom was very, and still is, very health conscious with our eating. We ate everything very low salt, which was, the healthy eating modality de rigueur at the time. And so like we never really had salt and we never had butter in anything. Everything was like olive oil, or like canola oil, or vegetable oil is what they would call it back then. I think it's still called that now, but I don't think canola oil as a term became popular till later. So like, I think that's why I enjoyed when we ate other places so much, just because it was saltier and fattier. But yeah, and then what's funny is my wife loves to tell this story about how when her parents got married, they went through some tough times. He worked at the John Deere factory. They went on strike a bunch of times. And when times got tough, sometimes, my mother-in-law would do what they needed to do to make sure the kids were fed, that everyone had food to eat, everyone stayed warm, had clothes to wear, things like that. One time, I think it was during a strike, but one time when times were tough, she brought home margarine instead of butter. And my father-in-law was like, that's the line. That's it. We must have real butter only in this house. And like to this day, I've never seen. And one time my wife brought some when we were staying there during the pandemic. She brought in a tub of like country crock shed spread, that thing. But other than that, I've never seen margarine. There's only butter in the house. It's like that's his, the line of demarcation. Can't go past that. I love that story. Martha's today is eating coffee cake from yesterday's live stream. Nice. I miss my mother-in-law's coffee cake. I think what my mother-in-law does when she makes a coffee cake is she just takes a box of cake mix, or she makes just like a regular kind of like, lasagna pan size of cake, like vanilla cake. And then I think she makes like icing frosting and puts that in it and like just kind of like drizzles it through, and there's a little bit of cinnamon in it, and I think that's how she makes it. But when it comes out, it's super flaky and tasty and spongy at the same time. Really, really good. And she makes it just every once in a while. She'll just make it, and I haven't had it in a while, and I've been really craving it a lot lately. When I go to the grocery store and I see those rectangular cakes that are disgusting and like full of that like fake moisture or whatever, glistening stuff that I do like to eat from time to time as an indulgence. Like whenever I want the coffee cake, that's what I end up like is my next best substitute. All right. And it says to update, the langoustines were really good. See, making us all jealous. All right, I'm going to scroll down. I've been rambling for a little while, so I got to catch up to you guys. And it says, if I ever come to Scotland, I have to learn how to say scone. Okay, you'll have to teach me. I won't try to figure it out now. I'll wait till I get up there. Eric says cheese is the only salvation for Seitan anything. Does that go together? I mean, I feel like people would get mad. Like Tommy Runs was saying, like you can't put an egg on vegan chicken or like fake chicken, you know. Daniel M says, "Follow your heart makes the best vegan mayo." Is that worth investigating? Should I try that? There's two things that I'm really interested in. One is like vegan mayo, just because I do like mayonnaise, but I'm like I feel like like I saw a jar the other day of mayo that was like olive oil mayo, and I'm like, isn't all mayo this like commercial mayo that comes in squeeze bottles? Like, isn't that all just oil based anyway? There's no egg in them anymore, is there? So like I'm wondering if I do need to go to the vegan mayo. And then from reading Rich Roll's book, Finding Ultra, what was he was eating like these avocado sandwiches. Was it like some sort of avocado spread that he was eating? Whatever that is, I want to eat those. It sounds good. He's like he'd be doing his like Ultramans, and for food he would be eating, I don't know if he put it like in his back pocket or what, but he would say like only thing he would eat on the bike would be these like vegan avocado sandwiches. I think it was vegan mayo and avocados. I mean, thinking about the fact that he was like cycling in 100-degree weather in Hawaii, like I don't like what kind of condition is that sandwich in, right? At that point, by the time he's eating them, but for some reason I'm still like, I want to eat that. It's so weird. I mean, you guys are having some good snacks today. Is this what you guys normally eat during the live stream? You guys are doing great. Mika's got coffee and an iced bun, followed by a lot of veggie sushi. Veggie sushi is underrated, I think. Eric says, I'm not going to last more than 20 minutes to all this food talk. Guess I need more than that blueberry RX bar. Or no, he's sad. Sorry, Eric. Sue just had a crepe with Nutella. Have to make another batch of crepe mix now. Yeah, it's good. It sounds really good. Although, like, I find myself, like, voluntarily eating very little Nutella anymore. Like, ever since, like, I mean, we always have Nutella in the house. The kids have Nutella pretty much almost once a day. Pretty much every day they have some sort of Nutella in it. And so like the way that I scavenge eat, I usually end up eating something with Nutella in it every day. Daniel M says, get the vegan mayo. They make really good ones, and chicken farming is truly horrific. Yeah. I've been thinking about, are you guys eating the Just Egg? If you watch like Korean vegan, like she uses the Just Egg all the time. And now I think they're actually a sponsor of hers now, which I think is about time. But, yeah, it looks really good. And I don't have a problem. I love eggs. I don't have a problem with eggs, but I am concerned about the way that the chickens are treated. That bothers me, you know. Chris Dyke says, I just now realize it's a long weekend for us. Yes, in the United States, it's President's Day weekend. So Monday is off. So that reminds me, Monday we won't have a live stream this week because of the holiday. I'll post something on Monday to remind you guys. We'll be traveling, and we're actually going to go back to Iowa for this weekend. I think the roads are going to be fine. I think we're supposed to get some snow tonight. This is that time of year where it's like you can plan stuff on the weekend, but you may or may not get to do it because of the weather. But I think we're going to be okay. So we'll go back this weekend for the long weekend. I got to get the oil change anyhow, so I'm going to see Uncle David tomorrow. I got an appointment at 9 a.m., I think. It's funny. Whenever I need to get the oil change, I'm a grown man. I'm 42 years old. But when I need to get an oil change, I have to ask my wife to call her mom to ask Uncle David if he could fit us in for an oil change. And then, like, later on, my wife will text me. My mom says Uncle David can fit you in at 9 a.m. on Saturday. Yeah. Mika says, I've been too lazy to go full vegan, so I've eaten pescatarian for ages, occasionally straying to chicken if pushed. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm like I guess I'm a social omnivore. Although, like, my wife and I will sometimes choose at home. Like, we had scallops this week to have seafood. And then I will occasionally scavenge a fish stick or two. And then at McDonald's, sometimes if we do go to McDonald's, um, then I have lately been ordering the fish sandwich. Now, for a while, when like McDonald's really pushing breakfast anytime, I would just get the Egg McMuffin sandwich and then take I think it was ham or sausage off of it. For a while, I was ordering those sandwiches without sausage, but then it would take longer because then they'd have to custom make it, and I hate to make anyone at McDonald's custom make anything. So I would just order the regular sandwich and then just take the meat patty off and then eat it that way. But then like a lot of franchises stopped doing breakfast all day, and then I felt like it was just annoying everybody when I ordered the breakfast sandwiches for dinner. So I've just been switching over to the fish. So I think I probably eat a decent amount of fish. I try not to, but I think it happens. Marlon says, at least today's food talk is appetizing, unlike yesterday's, which had the opposite effect. That's funny. Cody Davis says, I usually eat a tortilla with melted Mexican cheese blend and refried beans folded like a taco, 3 of them. That's my standard. Like every time I need a snack. I mean, when I'm in Iowa, that's like, I'll have that like maybe 2 times a day, in addition to whatever else I'm eating. But just to make sure I'm getting enough calories and proteins. Maybe not the healthiest thing to eat, but it's satisfying and gets the job done. I'm a big fan. I usually just put it in the microwave too to warm it up a little bit. If I have an air fryer available to me, I will want to have corn tortillas for that. But if I'm making it in like just the microwave, which is not a great way to make tacos, let me tell you, then I'll go with the flour tortilla. The better way to do it is to, cook them up in a little frying pan. Although the air fryer is also really good at making tacos. Dad Bod Runner is here drinking a Modelo. There you go. It's Friday. Go for it. I love it. Who else was drinking something? Yeah, Sue Ann's having a dark and stormy. Nice. That's a great call. I can go for that. I can go for that or a Modelo. Both really tasty. Dan M says the Just Egg product, the plant-based egg substitute, is really good. It's also pretty easy to make it homemade. You can? That sounds beyond my skill level. I'll just buy the product. Just Egg. Maybe we need to get that for the mukbang sometime. Jonathan Crossy says, we get all our eggs from local farms now, so we could see where they come from. A little more expensive than the store, but well worth it. I would say so. Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I should start going to the farmer's market to get eggs. Because there's a Green City farmer's market. There's an organic farmer's market in Chicago. I think it does go year round. I think in the wintertime it heads over into like the lobby of the of the Peggy Norpart Museum. That's not a nature. Is that a nature museum? Everything's supposed to be organic in that farmer's market. So maybe I'll get some from there. The hours are a bit inconvenient, but now that I'm a stay-at-home dad, my wife keeps laughing every time I say that I'm either a stay-at-home dad or a trophy husband. Like it never ceases to like please her when I say like, she's like, what do you want me to put down for your occupation? Like if we're filling out a form or something, what do you want to put down as your occupation? I say trophy husband, and she just laughs. She laughs like she knowingly laughs a little too hard. And that she's not sorry about it either. So I'm like, then stay-at-home dad. She's like, you're not a stay-at-home dad. I'm like, what do you want me to put down? What do you want me to put down in this bank form? YouTuber? I'm sure we'll get a loan if you put down YouTuber. So, yeah, I don't know. Now that I'm a stay-at-home dad, I could probably make the trip over to the farmer's market to get eggs. That would make me feel better about it. And we do eat a lot of eggs, so I feel like it would add cost, but I think it would make a difference. Oh, Chris Dyke says, in Canada, it's Family Day on Monday? I love it. That's nice. That's really nice. Duke BB's 22 says, my favorite snack is Cheeto Puffs. See, I think I'm in the minority, but I like the crunchy Cheetos way more than I like the puffs of Cheetos. Like my kids love the puffs, And I could be like, hey, do you guys want some of my Cheetos, the crunchy ones? They'll be like, what else do we have to eat? And I'm like, what? Like my sister and I growing up, my sister and I would fight over that stuff. And like my kids are just like, I guess I'll have an apple. I'm like, you're picking fruit over Cheetos crunchy. Like I don't even understand that. That doesn't make any sense. But Cheeto Puffs are good. I'm not saying they're not good, but they pale in comparison to the crunchy Cheetos. Mika just opened a bottle of port wine. Man, I think you guys are in a further ahead time zone than me. But I'm excited. Tracy Smith says you don't have to be in the country for local stuff. I work at an urban farm in Chicago, and we have bees. Oh, that's awesome. Very, very cool. Yeah, I wish urban farming were a bigger thing. I mean, I don't know what are the logistics that make it less practicable than it is right now, or to like less popular than it is right now. But I love the idea of it. Oh, Mika says it's 9. What is that? 9:39. Oh yeah, that's good time for port wine. Nice. Eric Hill says, all of you getting after it before 2 p.m. Central Time or make me feel like I am missing out. Yeah. Yeah, well, I have like a 4-hour drive. Otherwise, I'm like, oh, you know what I want? I want a big bowl of soup. I want a big bowl of soup, maybe a little bit of, I have Amy's chili that I can have. Warm up the belly, and then I'm going to have some beer, like a strong IPA beer. It sounds really delicious right now, but at least that third part's probably going to have to wait till I'm done with the drive for tonight. Regan Dugan says, we actually have a farmer's market that sets up in the parking lot of the research lab I work at once a week. Super convenient. See, that is super convenient. There's also a farmer's market in Chicago downtown. I don't think it's not an organic market, but it is a farmer's market, and they have it right at the Daily Center, which is the courthouse that I used to do a lot of work in. That would be pretty convenient in theory, but then I'm like, then I got to get all this stuff, store all this stuff during the day, and then get it home, like on the train. That's not that convenient. So, I don't know. Convenience is a big thing, I think, for farmers markets to make them succeed. All right, running question. Bryce Blankenfield says, are there any wider toe box carbon-plated shoes? Narrow shoes make my Morton's aroma flare up. I would say that, I'm thinking about Tommy runs here. Tommy's been running in the Hyperion Elite 2. That one I feel like is a bit of a wider toe box. I also think that the Carbon X2 and the Carbon X3 fit a little bit wider. There's a little bit more room in there. They're not as like exciting, I would say, as some of the other carbon plated options, but I do think there's a little bit more room. I would also take a look, as far as some more exciting options go, take a look at the RC Elite 2, see if that one can work for you. I have not ever felt like my toes were crunched in that one. I don't consider it a particularly wide shoe or roomy, but I've never felt like my toes were crunched in it. So that might be another one to look at. And like toe crunching can come in two ways. One could be from the sides, because everything's getting like smushed in this way. Another can be in the front from the toes. If the shoe curls up too aggressively, sometimes as you're toeing off, I feel like your toes end up like, I don't know if they're actually hitting the ground or what, or something's happening where they're just getting like, I don't know, just mangled in the toe off a little bit. So that could be toe crunch, in my mind, can mean two things. But I think the RC Elite 2 might be one that's going to be a little bit more forgiving. And I do think because it's like a very stretchy mesh that's in that shoe, that even if it's not the most volume, I think it's going to be a little bit more forgiving. I would give that one a try. Zach Back says, imagine if you're trying to get a loan and you put down YouTuber and the bank is like, how many subscribers? I mean, that'd be a bank that gets it. JC says a comedian bought his own hens, but he was only in it for the yolks. Every time I think about like the chickens actually laying eggs, I'm reminded of the fact that of two things. My sister had like a rent-a-chicken during the pandemic. They like had these chickens. You're renting the coop. the company, they bring the coop out to you, they bring you chickens, and you feed them every day, and you collect the eggs. And then like at some point, I think like they were like, this is too much. And then the company came and took the chicken coop back. I never got to actually see the chickens because it was during that part of the pandemic where, we weren't seeing everybody. And then, but she's not the only one in my family that had chickens at home. My dad, at one point, I think I might have been maybe a little bit older than my daughter is now. My dad one day just came home with a box full of chickens, like little baby chicks, like in a giant cardboard box. And I was like, what is this? He goes, these are our pet chickens. And I was like, okay. And he just kept them in the garage. I don't know if he let them out I think he let them out during the day. But a lot of the time they just lived in their box. And I don't know what his grand designs were for that. I should ask him about that. Next time I see him, I'm going to ask him about, Dad, do you remember the chickens? Maybe my sister has different memories of it than I do. But from all I can remember is at some point, the chickens just started getting real aggressive. And we're just always like try to poke our eyes out and scratch us and stuff. Probably because we wanted to handle it and hold it like a bunny or something. But yeah, I don't know. And then one day the chickens were gone. And then I think my dad said I don't know if my dad just was like drove somewhere real far and like let the chickens out, or if he says he took them to a farm. I'm like, what farm? How'd you do that? He's like, I don't know. I just took them to a farm. I knocked on the door and said, would you like chickens? And they said yes. So it sounds a little bit suspect, right? So, I mean, even my like 5th grade, BS meter was like, ding, 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 ding. What's going on here? So I don't know. I'll have to follow up on that, guys. I'll get you some more information. And it says, what do you call an egg who likes to go on safari? An explorer. My kids are going to like that one. I have to remember that. Explorer. I like it. It says there was a person on Shark Tank trying to get them to invest in a business selling setup for chicken coops. I mean, who knows? That might have been it. My understanding is that, businesses that just being on the show, whether you get an investor, a shark investor or not, is really good for the business, from what I understand. So like even just being on the show is a big deal. So whether they were successful in reaching a deal that day, I guarantee you that is what my sister ordered. She might not even realize it, but yeah. Jason Dawes here. He says, hi everyone, late again because of work, but I had a blast last night running in 3 to 4 inches of unplowed snow. It was peaceful and a good excuse to run snow. The snow came so fast yesterday. So I went to go pick up the kids. I did drive because we had to go swimming right away to their swim classes. And when I picked them up, it was just extremely windy and starting to snow. By the time we left, there was like 4 inches of snow on the ground everywhere and nothing was plowed yet. So like we had a real hard time we were fine, but it was just like everything was super slow going and like I couldn't see anything. It was real hard. And like, especially leaving that parking lot is terrifying when it's a snowstorm because in that parking lot, there's a swim school. So there's like children that are basically the size of a blind spot, they're like too low. So like my car, it's hard to see where the kids are all the time if they're running around and they're after swimming or they're before swimming. And so they're excited. So I'm always like petrified that I'm going to run over a child in that parking lot. And yesterday when it's like snowing and it's hard to see anything, I was really scared about it. JC says about the RC Elite 2, I have a RC Elite 2 and definitely a wide foot and it works pretty well for me. Nice. And I think Widefoot Jarrett, I believe in the run, also likes the RC Elite 2. So that could be another. I think that's going to be the one. That might be the one I start recommending for everybody. All right, let's do a couple more and I got to get going. Scroll down, catch up with you guys. And it says, I think calling into a farm and offering free chickens would be just the thing that would happen. Don't question Mr. Co Senior. Okay, yeah, I prefer to believe I believe my dad's story. I mean, my dad has had a very interesting life, and it's to the point, and my sister and I have had conversations about it. We're like, I don't know if these stories are true. I'll have to start collecting some of those. Maybe I'll share them with you guys. But yeah, I mean, I'll share this one story with you guys, and then we'll wrap up for today, and then I'll see you guys Tuesday as a reminder. So my dad, he came to the United States to go to grad school. And he was married, and I was alive at the time. We came in 1982 when I was just about to turn 3. And he didn't speak very much English, because the thing about 1982 back then, like everyone in the world speaks English now, especially in Korea. But like back then, there wasn't internet. There was hardly even cable television. Like he knew enough English to get into grad school here, but he didn't really know a lot. And when he would go to McDonald's, this was the time before value meals. So you had to order like, I'll have a burger, I'll have a Big Mac, I'll have fries, and can I have a Coca-Cola? That kind of thing. And he would just go to McDonald's and be like, hamburger, please. And he'd never remember how to order fries. This is a story that I'm not embellishing the story. This is how he tells the story. He never remember how to order fries. So the only time he would get fries is if the person at the register would ask him if he want fries, because then he would just say yes. And then same thing. I don't know if he got sodas every time or not, but he definitely told me the story about fries. So like if the cashier was doing a good job upselling, which is something that cashiers are taught to do, if they did a good job upselling, then my dad would get to eat fries that day. If they didn't, all he would get was a hamburger. And I'm like, how long did you do that for? He's like, it took me a couple of years to figure out how to do it. And I was like, but you graduated from graduate school writing like papers and stuff? He's like, yeah, but ordering French fries is very different. I was like, okay. All right. Maybe that story wasn't as good to you guys as it was to me, but I love that story about my dad. I just picture him as a younger man hoping that he'll get asked if he wants French fries. All right. Tomorrow, this video is going to be about Adios Pro 2 and the Takumi Sen 8. I think that's going to be a really fun video. And then we'll probably do one more video, or maybe we'll do another video over the weekend. But I won't see you guys in a live stream until Tuesday. Maybe we'll do I think we'll do Monday Mukbang on Tuesday next week. And then we'll do Trivia Tuesday on Wednesday. I think we got to get some trivia in here. We got to do some more mukbanging. We talked about food so much today, so we got to get that done. So we'll get that done for next week. In the meantime, everybody, have a really great weekend. Have some really good runs out there. For those of you guys racing, good luck. Come back on Tuesday. Let us know how it went. And as always, be safe out there. Thanks.